Welcome back to Crystal Clear Coaching. You are here with me, Crystal. I am clear on what we're going to talk about today. I'm sorry, that was bad. Anyway, um, so the past couple of days, I just tripped and fell and started talking about the 7 Faces of Intention by the amazing spiritual teacher Wayne W. Dyer, who has become an angel and the past, it was over a decade ago now, I want to say. So he is someone that wrote like a ton of spiritual books, and had his own lessons in life and had a radio show, and he just has such an inspiring view of looking at the world in a way to help lift others up in their hard moments. And I was introduced to him when he was already passed on, by my brother. He gave me one of his books called The Power of Intention, this beautiful gift edition of it, which has lots of stunning illustrations in it. And that was my first spiritual book, and I loved delving into it. It took me quite a while to get through because it's something you sit with and journal on as you go, and I'm so grateful for it. It's helped helped form my perspective, from a more spiritual lens. That and many other books since, but that was really the first for me. And so he talks about the power of intention, and he talks about the 7 faces of intention. So, lenses we can view our intentions through to become more intentional. And so I shared about beauty being one of them the other day. And then yesterday I shared about creativity being another one. And I honestly think any of these faces of intention, if you're ever feeling uninspired in any given day, like, I love just reminding myself of those 7 faces of intention, to remind myself what are the good things that make you feel alive. How can I change my lens of the world in this moment, change my perspective, and see what's its intended positive outcome here. Like, what's the highest good of the situation, or how could I view it in a way that's gonna give me a more empowered lens, to get where I intend to go, or where I want to intend to go, that I can actually start embodying the intention rather than just intending it without having the follow through. And that helps. It helps when you have inspiration. I'm really hoping that dog's not too noisy, because I do have my window open and I don't usually. But then the sound was terrible yesterday for no good reason, even though I was filming in the same spot. So I just, fingers crossed you can hear me. But sometimes, when you're feeling uninspired, when you're feeling a bit down and out, or just like having a bad day, it's like the last thing you want to do, to have to try and view things from a different perspective. But it helps so much, and like, just over time memorizing these 7 faces of intention, and reminding myself if I just need a new lens to look through. Any of these lenses of these words, essentially, that embody those faces of intention, just help me bring me back to my intention for what I want in my life and what I want for those around me. So like, if you're feeling uninspired, well, how can you look through a creative lens and see, well, what's a different way we could do things? How can you get creative with how you're even looking at things, to shift the way you feel about them and how you're showing up for them. And then with beauty, like, just how can you plant moments in your life that you will see and appreciate beauty, whether it's being out in nature, or that you have a beautiful piece of artwork that you keep on your wall that just lights you up from the inside out, or maybe you like to get your nails done. And, just having fun colours on your nails makes you just light up. And, maybe you're having a hard week and having bright colours in your nails just gives you that little boost that helps you remind you of who you are at your core and what your actual intention as the person you are is, like what you want to show up for, what you want to cultivate in your life for yourself and those around you. Yeah, so creativity, beauty, and then today, you may have maybe figured it out from my picture, but today, the face of intention I want to talk about is love. Like, how can I see the world more through a lens of love? And I'm not talking romantic love. Yes, romantic love is included in that, but just seeing through the lens of love, how your friends show up, how they make a weird little snort whenever they think that something's funny, or just their patterns that you like, that might frustrate you at times, but really it's them, and you wouldn't want it any other way because that's how they show up, and that's how you know them, that they're them, and that's the person that you've grown with, and laughed with and cried with, and like, how can you end up loving when you truly love those around you. Like, it's those little flaws that kind of light you up in the situation. Not that you're rallying for your mates to have flaws, but no, it's just more like it just shows their humanity, their aliveness. The person that you've walked with through this life for however long. There might be a really new friendship, but you still feel like it went deep way faster than you would have thought possible. They might be the person you've known for the longest in your life outside of your family. I'm lucky to have friends of all shapes and sizes that would fit into those descriptions. And I have so much love for them. I do. And the ways they show up for themselves in good ways, and the ways that they show up in bad ways. And I'm always, as a coach, advocating for them to, step into more of what they want by switching, changing some of those habits and patterns. But they've got to do the work to look at it for that to happen. But also, I love them where they're at, as they are, if they never choose to change. I can love them in that. And, there's times that you distance yourself from people because you can still love the person they are and how they're showing up right now, but no, it's not healthy for you to have in your life. And that's okay. It's so fine. And it doesn't mean maybe that they won't, end up in your life again when it aligns again in the future. It's not, we're not promised to each other in any way. That means that we can't have a season of our life not as close with certain friends and, closer with others. And sometimes friends are just for a season, but you can still hold love for them even if it's been years since you've talked. And you can still love hearing that they're doing well, but know that, your time, probably has passed, I mean, I'm always someone, because I've travelled so much and moved around so much, I kind of pop up catch people unawares frequently around the world, and I will generally always reach out, and sometimes the moment's passed and it doesn't just pan out, or just time-wise it doesn't work out, and maybe it's more of a priority for me to see someone than it is for them, like that, and that's fine. They've all got their own lives, like, and I love that for them. I just really love finding ways to view our relationships in our life, our community in life, our things in life, just through a lens of love more, because I honestly think that's like all there actually is, and the human experience is actually for us to see the darkness and the shadow so that we can appreciate how light the light is and get to know ourselves in this human experience as spiritual beings having a human experience. And really, I think to a degree all there is love, but it's not what is the felt reality here on this plane of existence. Did I go too woo-woo? But yeah, there is it, like, so this is another couple of books that form this opinion of mine, is that we're just here to experience our darkness in a way, as well as our light, but like experience our darkness to see how light the light is. I don't know if I can pinpoint it to either of these books, but I feel like between these books, this is how I formed this perception. And that's Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. Brilliant book worth looking up. Basically, he just starts ranting at God, and not in any kind of religious way, because personally I'm not into that, but alright if you are. He just rants at God feeling down and out, and then goes to put down the pen and can't put down the pen and just keeps writing, and it becomes a conversation with God. And I know that sounds very woo-woo, but like what is said in that book made a profound and lasting difference on my perception of what the human experience is, and that we're all connected, and that we are just, light having a human experience. And the other book is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and yeah, that just gave me so much peace. Between those two books, like, it gave me so much peace as to, well, life and death and all that, to be honest. And I know there's a lot of concepts explored in those books, but this is just my overall takeaway from it, and it just helped me view even the hard moments through a lens of love. Like, what is this teaching me? How is this making me more into the strong, capable person that's gonna create things in the world that I'll be so happy that I experienced the creation of, and all that good stuff, yeah, looking through a lens of love. And obviously you look through a lens of love when it comes to your partner, your kids, if you have those things. I don't. Or, your loved ones, your family, chosen or not chosen. And also I don't want to exclude anyone that has family that they don't feel like they do love because it's been too painful and there's too much water under the, maybe not water under the bridge, there's too much that's gone on and people haven't been respecting you, and that's totally fine, and your sovereign right to know, and the best way to love yourself is to step away from certain relationships, even if they are blood, and that's okay. And yeah, and really what I'm coming back to here is viewing through a lens of love, first and foremost, for, these people in your life, for the world itself and what's around you, but most importantly, for yourself. Like, view yourself through a lens of love. Because all we're doing, every action we take or don't take, that's our system operating from pure love. And you might be thinking, oh, what? How do you put those two together, Crystal? How do you say that? How do you make sense of that? Well, what it is we are wired for survival. Our brains are wired, and our nervous systems are wired to keep this human being alive, to keep us surviving. In whatever way we've coded and decided in our younger years that we must do that. So whenever it's like our subconscious is constantly scanning for, oh, this situation feels like that time back when we were 7 years old, where we weren't getting the love and attention we needed in order to survive, and we had to show up in this way in order for us to then get that attention, that love and belonging, in order to survive. So we must keep showing up in that way, so it deletes and distorts and generalizes this new situation into a situation that feels akin to it from when you were 7 years old. And then you find out, and you might have that serve you. It might empower you, like maybe you learn to stand up for yourself in that moment, whatever was going on, and that's actually served you as the adult version of you. But also maybe you learned to retreat into your shell, like run away so no one got the chance to abandon you. And that was an act of self-love and preservation, because it didn't feel survivable to stay in a situation where you felt that love and belonging might be taken away. So you had to, your highest intended positive outcome in that moment from your subconscious was, well, if we run away, then then they can't abandon us. And so if they haven't abandoned us, then we're still surviving. We're still alive. So yeah, we're all wired for that survival and to stay in love and belonging. And that to stay in that love and belonging is purely to survive. But that's why we're so always seeking that love, seeking that belonging. It's really quite incredible how our systems work. And it's super loving. Like, those parts of us are just trying to keep us safe. And sometimes they don't realize how distorted that version of how we have to show up in order to stay safe, how distorted that's become, and actually often it can become very unhealthy. This is why it's important to look at your stuff when you're older, when you're feeling blocked from things, feeling like something's not possible for you. We've got to look and see, well, what's our inner child, or inner children, really. There's lots of younger parts of ourselves that are speaking to us constantly and trying to steer the ship of our system. And we are the perceiver that gets to choose which one we let take over the steering wheel. And maybe we just keep letting the easy one, the subconscious one, take over the steering wheel, and we just coast through life, kind of blah. Yeah. Or maybe we let the one that's stepping into their capable self, stepping into their higher self, take the wheel. And then we keep opening new amazing doors. And we'll make mistakes, and you'll be slapped in the face once or twice or 100 or 1,000 times, but we're trying something new, and the more that we step forward in those ways that feel really uncomfortable to our system, uncomfortable because it feels potentially unsurvivable in order to stay in love and belonging and survive, the more that we step into that uncomfort and discomfort, and then in certain areas, if we keep stepping into the same discomfort, eventually our systems is going to soften and feel like, we actually survived that. Oh, we survived that again. We survived that again. Oh, great. Okay. And it'll become allowable to your system. And it won't trigger you every time you try and step forward in that way. Like, some people have big dreams, man. Big dreams that would light the world up. They have so much to share. But these young parts of themselves that are just seeking love, they're too scared to go into the discomfort. And so they look away, they avoid, they procrastinate. I mean, I'm never coming from a high horse here, because procrastination is a big part of how I operate. And it's held me back a lot, to be honest. So you gotta notice in conscious moment after conscious moment when you're self-sabotaging, when it's those younger parts of yourself saying, oh, no, we can't go that way. Not allowable. You won't stay in love and belonging. You're going to be ousted. You're going to survive. You're not going to survive. You're going to die, basically. That's what it feels like. But all our internal system and our younger selves, the parts of ourselves that come up, they're just here to love us. And the only ways they know how, unless we can show them otherwise. But even coming back to, Wayne Dyer's The 7 Phases of Intention, viewing the world when you're setting intentions and, looking through that lens of love, it's going to soften you to just, like, you look at a situation that feels a bit heavy, just as it is, and it makes you feel maybe some visceral, like, somatic feelings, like a lump in your throat, or like heart beating fast, or whatever it is. You take a deep breath. Exhale longer than you inhaled. Just to tell your system that you're okay. Exhaling longer than you inhale means you're not running from a predator actively. A lot of our predators these days are in our mind. So we have to tell our system that we're safe. And that is literally the easiest way to do it. Exhaling longer than you inhale. And then you choose to see the situation, then invite love into that situation, the lens of the thing that you're like, oh, I need to do this thing, but I'm like feeling sick and heart beating fast. Okay, deep breath. Sigh it out. Okay, now if I put on my rose-tinted glasses, not in a not seeing reality kind of way, just in a I'm going to see through the lens of love now way. If I saw the situation through the eyes of love, am I listening to, the love or the fear in that moment, Maybe that feeling is the fear coming out saying this isn't survivable, but really, we just haven't proved to ourselves that it is yet. It's just unknown whether it is or not. But if we see the love in the situation that we want to step forward into, whether it's passion for the art that we're creating, or, you know, a YouTube channel you're creating. If we see it through a lens of love and we just show up for it with that enthusiasm and that passion and that love, people are going to resonate with that. And if they don't, you get to go through the world with a lens of love. So I actually really love, there's a song on Charlie XCX's Brat album, which is actually such a beautiful song. Like, I mean, it's very funky party girl Charlie XCX vibes version of it, but it's called Everything is Romantic. And I just love it, like, fall in love again and again. But, like, everything is romantic, like, and, I mean, might be just my perception, but I see her really talking about everything, like, not just and to do with her romantic relationship, like, everything is romantic. Seeing the world through that lens of love. And, you know, still having doubts and whatever, but, you know, choosing love, really, in any given moment. To help step forward anyway and choose love over fear, you know. Love is important, maybe the most important thing in all its forms. There's so many forms of love, and I'm here for it. And I don't want it just to be a romantic lens of love, because that does such a disservice to the small ways you love your mates, the small way you love, you know, where you work, or like the pretty things you put on your body to, you know, express yourself. The love you view a beach with, a sunset, a cute cat or dog, a sick meal. By sick meal I mean, sometimes I speak Kiwi too hard. A really rad meal, like, excites you. Just like, and like, you can intend love into your food and your drinks as well, and like that sends love through your body to your very cells, you know, and sending love to your cells, you know, with the biology of belief, but, you know, that helps us live a more vibrant, healthy life as it is, you know. Like, there's just, like, love is the answer. Yay. Score. And I honestly think, you know, you read and hear and listen to and watch stories of love, and you think, it's never that simple for me. Well, yeah, because you don't have a narrative team cutting out all the hard parts, the long parts, the boring parts. There is love in you know, so much more than just, you know, the dating and relationship side of life. In fact, lately you might argue that there's a little less love in the dating relationships like realm in 2026. We need to invite back more authentic, like, love and community, but also, like, can you show up, this might sound crazy, but yeah, can you show up to a date, it can be a first date, and view it through a lens of love, to consider who's that person, what's their best and highest, what does this sovereign being in front of you, like, deeply want and desire, what are they scared of, what are the ways that they, you know, hold themselves back through that fear of abandonment or whatever is coming up for their inner child. You know, hey, you're not going to get that deep on first date, don't get me wrong, but you can still view through a lens of, like, this is a person that, you know, was born and would have had a family, community around them, and friends and people that love them along the way, and, you know, they've lived a whole life, and, you know, we're meeting to figure out if we might align and something might grow deeper, but you know, can you bring like a more wholesome version of like love to that initial encounter? And that's if it, if it's off a like dating app first date, if you never met them, or like a blind date, or because sometimes you'll just meet people out and about and you'll just start hanging out, and then before you know it, okay, we're together now, cool. Sweet. Sneaks up on you. But yeah, it's just never that straightforward, is it? Love can show up in so many different ways, and it can be a kind friend dropping you a care package when they know you're having a hard time. Like, I've had so much, honestly, I've had experienced so much more love from my friends and my family and my travels of the world and the experiences I've allowed myself to invite in than I ever have from like dating and relationships, because I haven't really gone that deep with anyone. Like, I've never been in a quote unquote serious relationship. And I'm like, I'll just own that. Like, I mean, I could, we were talking about owning it yesterday. Like, I could feel embarrassed about that, being 37 years old, but most importantly, I've loved me. I've done what I wanted to do, and like shown up for myself in so many different ways, and made mistakes, but like kept loving me and enjoying my life for me and those around me that I love. I have so much love to give, and I love so deeply. And I love choosing to use, this face of intention to remind myself of what it's all for. When there's hard moments, when my grandma passed and I was away from home and it was really hard. Well, she'd given me so much love over a lifetime, and she was the best gremlin, as I call her. Best gremlin ever. That was my personal nickname for her that I made up way too... I was like 12 years old or something when I made it up. It was too late to be making up names, but it also wasn't, because that's just how I roll. But I have so much love for my dear grandma and gremlin, and she was in pain by the end. I didn't want that for her, and I miss her. And part of me thinks it's going to feel more real when I visit home next month. But she gave so much love to her family, first her daughters and her son, and then all her grandsons and daughters, and so on and so forth, and everyone else in the family. And she was just pure love, and I'm really lucky to have that in my line. To have that influence, and for her to have been in my life for so long. And that's an incredible legacy to leave. It's beautiful. And so I continue to love her. She doesn't need to be here for that love to exist. And I also know that she can still feel it. She still appreciates it, and I still feel her love coming at me. So in a way, this love is infinite. It's unconditional. And I'm lucky to feel that. I know that. And like grief is love expressing itself to a degree. You wouldn't feel so much grief around something if there wasn't so much love there in the first place. And that's something to be grateful for. Anyway, well, this love chat went longer than I meant to, and went quite a few different places. Never know where it's going to go. Really hope the sound was good. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave it there for now, and we'll come back with another Face of Intention tomorrow. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you find the love in your life, and yeah, in all the ways, not just romantically. Find love in through that lens, and just light up your life with that love. Yes. Okay. Much love, and I will see you tomorrow.